Hester Rogers testified that the back passenger was yelling for help after being forced out of the vehicle.
All right. So they want this thing to get life. Okay, so, they didn't go that long. It looked like they only went like about 10 minutes on their closing arguments. Okay, let's hear what TK's lawyer has to say.
According to the law and the evidence in this case. Ladies and gentlemen, that verdict is finding the defendant guilty of capital murder. Thank you.
Now, again, we're ghetto legal experts here. I've heard about closing arguments taking up to an hour and a half. Sometimes they'll let you go all the way. So how it's done is that you have, in closing arguments, you have the prosecutor that goes first. At least I believe in Texas. Prosecutor goes first, then the defense attorney, then the prosecutor usually gets a time limit. They'll be like, yo, you got 15 minutes, right? Or you got 20 minutes. Probably usually short, like 10 minutes. And it's almost like rebut some of the stuff there, but not really argue with you're not arguing, you're making a statement. But they went for like damn near 10 minutes. Here, TK's lawyer now. Let's see how he's going to try to tell the jury that don't convict TK. Here we go.
May it please the court, opposing counsel, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for the patience that you've given us and the sacrifice of your time. This is an extremely hard decision. It might be the most grave and serious thing that you consider, deciding the guilt or innocence of someone charged with capital murder. Taylor McIntyre is not guilty. He's not guilty of capital murder. He's not guilty of murder. He's not guilty of manslaughter. And the reason for that is very simple. If you're going to charge someone with that kind of an offense, if you're going to take their liberty away from them, then you have to do it right. You have to do the work. And as this case clearly demonstrates, the work wasn't done. The investigation was faulty. It was incomplete. And by and large, I think it could be summarized as the detective looking at it all and going, good enough. It's not good enough. And you all need to insist on more. If you recall the testimony of Detective Juarez and my cross-examination of him, I think I've given you a clear roadmap about what this case is about and what it isn't about. We all understand that there's a pool of physical evidence and there is testimony conflicting from different innocent bystanders. That information is not enough to convict anyone of a crime. None of the people that were in that car could be convicted on the physical evidence alone that was provided. And everything else that flows from this is the bought and paid for testimony of the accomplice witness, Joanna Reyes. And there is not sufficient corroboration. The law prevents you from convicting Mr. McIntyre solely on the testimony of that accomplice. Let's talk about the physical evidence. We know that there's a 9mm shell casing found outside of the Chick-fil-A. We know that we have a dead body who died from a gunshot wound. We don't have a bullet. At the very basic core fact, the state can't actually demonstrate that 9mm shell casing and the death are connected. We have gunshot residue on the deceased's hands. We do know that a 9mm handgun was seized off of Jalen Bell in Dallas a few weeks after the shooting. We have a black four-door Kia with a shattered windshield. We have some grainy surveillance footage from the Chick-fil-A and from El Potosino restaurant that doesn't identify anyone, that by itself would not be able to give you any indication of who those people were. We have the discarded cell phone of the deceased. We have fingerprints from Jeremiah Rodriguez. We have fingerprints from Jalen Bell. That blue iPhone that the prosecutor spoke of. A photograph of Mr. McIntyre and Joanna Reyes, and a letter addressed to Mr. McIntyre. So dirty laundry, toothbrushes. We see, very significantly, a .380 auto bullet, a live round in the front passenger seat, the seat that they insist Mr. McIntyre was sitting in based upon nothing other than the bare word of Joanna Reyes. But nevertheless, a .380 auto round, a bullet that you know could not have been fired from a 9mm. We have a condom in the back seat, a wallet.
At least he was being safe when he was fucking, right? Condom in the back seat.
Broken sunglasses, a necklace pendant, straight about in the El Potosino parking lot, a broken SD card. We have these innocent bystanders. And yes, it's normal that people going about their daily lives aren't going to give detailed accounts of that, but don't accept that as some kind of an apology for the state's shoddy investigation. That's not how you should interpret that. Yes, it's normal that innocent bystanders are going to give conflicting accounts, and so that evidence has to be weighed less than it would if someone was able to give a definitive account.
I ain't gonna lie, he kind of spit me here, even though I think that's a tough sell, man. There's somebody dead. the person in the car is saying it's TK. The surveillance footage kind of shows that that person probably died from the gunshot of somebody in the car. Now it's about who in the car, and you have one person in the car pointing the finger.
You have no eyewitness identification of Mr. McIntyre. You have no eyewitness identification from any of those people of any of the participants in the car. And their accounts differ. We have people saying that all of the members were Hispanic. We have people saying that the man was African American. That doesn't do you a whole lot of good. There are 2 African American people in that car. They conflict about how many shots were fired. How many guns did they see? What exactly was the person doing with the gun? They largely do agree on one important fact, which is that Mark jumped on the hood of that car after he was ejected from it and stomped on the windshield. But let's talk about what you don't have. Each of these things is something that is very important for you to be asking, why don't I have it? And what would it have told me that might have informed my opinion one way or the other? Is that SD card that they found in the parking lot even compatible with a digital camera? Is it compatible with the kind of digital camera they say Mark had? You don't know. We have no idea. What was on the SD card? You don't know. Fingerprints of Tamor McIntyre? You don't have any. None.
Oh, shit.
Any reliable witness who can identify Tamor McIntyre, not even the 2 women going to the massage parlor that day, are able to give a definitive identification of Mr. McIntyre or anybody else that got into that car.
Basically, he's saying that the only person who's squarely putting TK as the shooter, because even surveillance footage, it shows that something happened, but you can't tell that it's TK doing it, is the driver who was his ex-girlfriend. I'm going to see if he ties that into she has a reason to lie. Like, maybe she's facing charges. Maybe they picked her up on, I don't know, try to deport her. I don't know if she's an immigrant. But just give a reason why she would lie. Why would she lie? You know what I mean?
An accounting of where the car was in between the time it departed Chick-fil-A and the time it parks at El Potosino. I mean, if we're going to really latch on to this idea that Joanna Reyes says that Tamor was in the front seat and we see somebody getting out of the front seat, aha. Well, okay, we don't know that that's Tamor McIntyre getting out of the front seat, and I don't know what they were doing between the time period that we're in the Chick-fil-A and we parked at the restaurant. They could have stopped to buy cigarettes. They could have stopped and decided to do a Chinese fire drill for some reason. You have no idea, and they don't either. They're asking you to just jump over that. And you're not supposed to be making those kinds of elisions in your logic. You're not supposed to be making those kinds of jumps. That is not common sense. That is not upholding your duty. That is taking their word for it. And that's not what you're allowed to do in a criminal trial. You never get to take their word for it. Their burden of proof prevents it. His presumption of innocence prevents it. You don't have any GPS data from any of these phones. You don't have any cell tower location.
Yo, TK sitting here like, nah, this nigga spitting.
Data. We have warrants showing who called who. Okay, great. Tamor McIntyre and Joanna Reyes were dating. They called each other. That's not a smoking gun of anything. But that cell tower data could have also told you where they were and when they were there, and you don't have it.
Ooh, that's
we don't have
true.
a dump of Mark's cell phone. We don't know anything that's on there. We don't have any idea what their communications actually were. We don't have a dump of Joanna Reyes.
Ooh, that's a good point too. Like, shit, show us what was on the guy who died phone, man. It would be more convincing if you showed that they were arguing prior to this, or TK text him like, when I see you, nigga, I'm robbing you, nigga. Nigga, I'm taking that camera off you, pussy. You know what I mean? So they said they don't have that and they don't have the GPS data. That's kind of odd.
He has his cell phone. We have no idea where her communications were. She says somebody broke it up in Dallas. We have to take her word for that. We have no corroboration of what Joanna Reyes did at any point in time after we last see her on that El Potosino video, and we only know it's her on the video because she says it's her. We don't have any examples of Mark's work as a photographer. This claim that it's his passion, this claim that that's his thing, this claim that that was his reason for being in that car, they're asking you to take their word for that. There's no proof of it. We don't have a single example of this man being a photographer. We don't have a digital camera, the subject of this supposed robbery, or anything connected with a digital camera. We don't have a backpack.
Nah, he's spitting.
Technical difficulty, Your Honor, I apologize. When it comes to the gun, we have problems there too. You heard testimony that you could do additional GSR work on the hands of Mark Zeldevar to try and determine whether or not there might be additional elements besides lead, barium, and antimony that might give you a key as to what kind of ammunition was used or what gun was fired. That analysis wasn't done. You heard testimony from a firearms expert saying that it couldn't have been the gun. But fundamentally, he admitted at the end of the day, it's a subjective science. It's the human eye that's at work here. And he's basing it off of, mostly, the indentations on that primer. And while he can say that the breech face precludes it from being the same thing, he didn't take the gun apart. So he's speaking about generally what a Smith & Wesson looks like. And he can't speak to the condition of the gun. It's been sitting in evidence for years, 7 years, in 2 different property rooms. And no one came here to talk about whether those rooms are climate controlled, to talk about whether they have an armorer that comes in and cleans the guns. Nothing. And he acknowledged that corrosion can affect how the primer gets indented when it's fired. He had nothing to analyze on those gun magazines, 2 of which are also .380 auto, not associated with that shell casing. And 1 is a 9mm. We don't have fingerprints on those magazines. We don't have anything to tell us whether they're significant or whether they're not. Except we do know that there were a lot of guns in that car. We know that the perimeter of the crime scene didn't include the access road, which seems to me to be a problem when we don't know how many shots were fired. Because maybe there are more shell casings. There's no way to say one way or the other. This is really important. We have no search of Jeremiah Rodriguez's home. I'm sorry, but their only witness.
All right, okay. Let's see what it's up. This guy was spitting though. Who's this other guy who gets up? Let's see.
We're going to have a miscarriage of justice today. No one wants that. I count on you to do your duty. I know that you will return a verdict of not guilty as to all of the theories the state has put forward. Thank you. Mr. Golson.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, able counsel, Tamar, this is a capital murder case. It's an important case, obviously, to take. But I think we all take it seriously. I've been watching. I can tell you that I'm impressed. I'm going to try and just summarize quickly. Judge Boyd is the judge of the law. She decides the law. You've been watching her rule. I told you we were going to have some.
I think he's for the. He's TK's lawyer as well. I guess they split time here.
Agreement, objection, instruction. But every one of you, in your own mind, you make these decisions. No one will ever be able to come back. Let me just say that there were a lot of inconsistencies. I told you a lot of this was going to be kind of boring. It's like watching paper. I mean, it's, you sit there and watch over and over again. And I said, that's because that's their job. They've got to do it. They're able to counsel.
Okay.
Was a female driver. Another said.
Okay. And let me see. This is going to be the prosecutor who ends. This is the prosecutor, I believe.
As brief as possible. As you notice, the judge is going to hold me to a 16-minute time interval.
So they gave him a time limit, 16 a minute. Okay.
After I speak with you, you're going to have an opportunity to go to the back. The charge that the judge read to you, you're going to get a copy of that, and you're going to be able to review that back there, okay? So what I'm going to do is jump right in about the capital murder here. The state has proven every single element of capital murder. If you look at this on April 23rd, most of these are not in contention here. April 23rd, 2017, Bexar County, Texas. The death of Mark Anthony Salvador was by a deadly weapon, by a firearm, by a shooting. And the only thing in contention that defense is arguing is Tamar McIntyre was not the one that did this while he was attempting to rob. I think the evidence overwhelmingly, if not beyond a reasonable doubt, beyond almost all doubt, that we have the correct individual. I'm going to talk about Joanne Reyes briefly. Okay. Cruz, saying she looked freaked out and escaped off, one to Dallas. Jalen Bell gets caught there. But if you listen to the testimony of the officer there was another individual with him. Who was that individual? Where did that individual go after his buddy got caught? He ran off to New Jersey. Connection to what? That letter that was found in the car. That's also corroborating evidence that he was there at the crime scene and committed this crime. Altogether, also testimony in here, you got that shell casing that was tested against the gun. It did not come back to that gun. You heard about the one shot. Several witnesses testified to that. You got shows that the front seat passenger in the white shirt. Watch the video. It's a white shirt. Watch the El Paltacino video. Guilty. And just to briefly, since it was brought up, if this is self-defense, what are we looking at then? What type of society? If robbing a victim and then
That's improper argument.
I'm asking you to enforce the law here, because if you're robbing somebody and you take something from somebody and then you argue that the defendant or the victim doesn't have a right to get it back, not here. The defendant provoked the victim by taking his things, his passion.
2 minutes.
Mark Anthony Salvador died that day. Justice for Mark Anthony Salvador. He had a passion
He
of photography. His mother testified to that. That's evidence. He had that camera that you see in this photo that was never found, might add. I agree with counsel. Never found. Why? Because of that man.
Oh, shit.
And his buddy. Make him take responsibility. You go to the page in this charge and go to capital murder, and then you flip to the back to the verdict form and say guilty of capital murder, because we have proven every single element beyond a reasonable doubt, especially that this individual, Mark Anthony Salvador, deserves justice. After so long, so many years later, he deserves justice. And just because it's old doesn't mean that it's bad evidence, but he deserves it. His family deserves it. Heck, we all deserve that. We don't want a society like this.
Objection, improper argument.
We want law enforcement, and that's what I'm asking for. Hold Tamar McIntyre, TK-47, accountable.
TK-47!
And come back with a verdict of guilty on capital murder. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, all right. I think that first lawyer for TK made some valid points. I'm going to just be honest with you, man. I don't think there's any... I know I'm looking at it in the opposite way of how you should look at the law, because it's the prosecutor's job to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. But I do think when you're thinking about a jury and people trying to make up their minds, they're seeing eyewitnesses who are basically saying you did it. They're seeing other things that lead to suggesting that you're the culprit, even if there's other things that were either incomplete or shoddy on the part of the detectives and the state in not bringing forth as evidence. For example, the GPS stuff and this and third. Bruh, there's somebody dead. And if people are saying it's you can't be thinking, well, they didn't cross their T's and dot their I's with these things, so find me not guilty. Nah, I think they're going to find your ass guilty. You know? So I actually believe TK is going to get found guilty and subsequently get a concurrent life sentence, which I just don't think we see TK in this lifetime again outside of the prison confines, to be honest, right? All right. I don't know why I'm seeing a bunch of court stuff pop up. Keefe D? They read a verdict in Keefe D shit, which is about a jail fight? Let me see. What the fuck? Why can't we hear? Yo, every time I see Keefe D, this nigga is regretting every Vlad TV interview, bro. Yo, he just got the look on his face. Yo, remember, brother love, show us some love, brother love. Yo, he just got regret in his face, man. Like, damn, I shouldn't have talked about this motherfucking shit.
That's everyone, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please be seated. Do the parties stipulate to the presence of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Has the jury elected a foreperson? That's Mr. Medina. All right, thank you. Have the jurors reached a verdict?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we have the verdict?
Okay. I guess he went to trial for a jail fight?
Thank you. Court will now read the verdict out loud.
District Court, Clark County, Nevada. The State of Nevada Plaintiff versus Dwayne Keith Davis Defendant. Case number C25389079-2, Department 4. Verdict. We, the jury in the above entitled case, find the defendant, Dwayne Davis, as follows. Count 1, battery by prisoner. Guilty of battery by prisoner. We, the jury in the above entitled case, find the defendant, Dwayne Davis, as follows. Count 2, challenge to fight. Guilty of challenge to fight. Dated this...
What the fuck are these charges? Why are they having a mini trial before his murder charge? They lock him up for murder. He gets in a jail fight. And they run the trial for the jail fight before they get to the murder trial. What the hell?
9th day, April 2025, signed by Ronnie Medina, foreperson. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is this your verdict is read? So say you one, so say you all.
Yeah, I think Keefe D having like PTSD right now. He's like, damn, I hope this ain't how the murder trial gonna turn out.
Yes. All right. Thank you. The clerk will now record the verdict in the minutes of the court. Does either party wish to have the jury polled?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your service today. You are now released from your admonishment. You can speak to anyone about anything that has happened in the courtroom, including what has taken place in the jury. Thank you. Will be remanded without bail.
Yo, he looking like he want to swing on his lawyer. Look at this nigga, bro.
Judge, I would request that the order be remanded without bail at this point.
Will be remanded without
He's like, nigga, what?
bail.
You know what his lawyer's saying? Nigga, don't blame me, nigga. You started all this shit on a Vlad TV interview set. Nigga, the fuck are you looking at me like that for? I can't save you. Nigga, you told yourself in 4K.
Remanded without bail at this point.
Will be remanded without bail. Mr. Arnold.
Why you acting like you don't know what that means? Nigga, you already remanded without bail for murder. Actually, no, I think there is a bail, or they were trying to get a bail.
Yes, take your time.
His lawyer don't want to look at him. Like, nigga, what's up? His lawyer's like, man, leave me alone, man. Yo, Keefy D, bro, you are free as hell. And clout and them Vlad TV checks got you telling on yourself. Why did you do that? Man, shaking his head. He looking back like somebody gonna come in and save him. What do you get sentenced for? And I would imagine it would be just time served. He's been locked up for like a year now. So if you get in a jail fight and that's a crime and you get found guilty, what are they going to do? Give you more jail time, or they're just going to be like, well, you already served jail time because you're in jail already?
May 27th?
Yes,
Yes, I'm here. Thank you.
thank you. So then a matter
This nigga looking around for Vlad. Yo, Vlad, where's the cameras at?
will be referred to the Department of Parole Probation for a pre-sentence investigation report and set for sentencing on May 27th at 9 a.m. Thank you. Have a great day.
Yo, he looked at his lawyer like, am I coming with you? No, nigga. They about to haul your ass back to where the hell you came from, jail.
You have the IT switch the microphone back for the next trial. Yep.
And Mr. John, Mr. Brooks, if you want to stay, I'll just go grab the laptop so you can take that.
Oh, they walked him out there without, oh, I guess they don't cuff him in court? They're probably going to cuff him in like a waiting area, right?
Sure.
Thank you.
All right. Shout out to Drill. By the way, I seen somebody in the chat. I don't know what I said earlier. They were like, yo, Act losing his passion for streaming. No, motherfucker, I'm trying to go out and watch Vibes Cartel. Relax. Give me a fucking break. I'm still trying to stream every day. But like, you know, I'm trying to do a few other things too. Like, damn, just let me go enjoy Vibes Cartel. I know I just came from Miami. I was just like, nigga, you was outside, nigga. You was outside the whole time. Shut the fuck up and stay inside and stream. I know. But Vibes Cartel is here. I gotta go see Vibes Cartel. I'm sorry. Y'all know how much I love Vibes Cartel. It's Vibes Cartel. Come on. Anyway, supposedly Jay Prince called out Adam 22 and Wack 100 and said they're lying to the youth. Here we go.
Yeah, that's me. You ain't gonna hear us, you know, on no podcast hating and belittling, trying to tear down our fellow man versus uplifting and going on the podcast every day to snitch on somebody, you know, taking, you know, advantage of the youth, those that hadn't fully developed their wisdom to the extent where they can be tricked and naive. You got these suckers that's around here taking advantage of them, lying to them, talking loud, trying to make it appear that they some type of bulldog or big dog when they really just a chihuahua. You know what I mean? These dudes are poodles. But they want to fool y'all with all of this expression and all this Hollywood shit that they do. And they undercover sissies. And that's just the truth. Yeah, that's me. You ain't gonna hear us, you know, on no podcast hating and belittling. I hear y'all loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear. And this portrait is so much bigger than rat behavior until, every time I talk, if it's one of y'all that embrace the game that I give, then it's worth me walking and talking to you. Now, when all of you become damn fools and nobody want to embrace wisdom no more, then I'm going to ride on off to the sunset. I'm going to ride on off to the sunset because I'm going to feel like I'm wasting my breath and my time. But until then, man, I want to see my people win. You know what I mean? I want to see y'all win. I want to see y'all break this poverty curse that been having our families in bondage.
Oh.
Yeah, that's me. Hear y'all loud and clear. Y'all see me live in the living color. Y'all see me walking. Yeah. I can walk in peace. See, I can walk solo. I can walk in peace in hoods, suburbs, on the moon. It don't matter. You know what I mean? When it's real everywhere. And when you understand that you got God's favor, then no weapon formed against you shall prosper. I ask him to make my enemies my footstool all the time. And trust me, a lot of them has been delivered to me. And I dealt with them accordingly. Y'all see me live in the living color.
All right. Is he using that Beijing or he don't got no gray hair? Anyway, he got that old man glasses, man. I always like when he the last remaining nigga who still got the earphone, the earbud with the cord still attached. Shout out to Jay Prince. Anyway, you know when Wack had called me that time and Wack was like, yo, bro, I think you having a narrative run on me, bro. You're playing with my name, bro. You're playing with my name, bro. And I was just sitting there, just kind of like listening to Wack 100 frustration about, he felt that I was allowing a narrative to like keep up about him. And of course I addressed it later, whatever. What he had told me, he was just like, bro, you want to bet $1 million that the feds never motherfucking came to talk to me? And I was like, nah, I do not want to bet, okay? But he did tell me, he's like, if the feds did come talk to me, why wouldn't I say it? And he mentioned that, he's like, I didn't know this happened. He's like, yo, apparently the feds came to him about Jay Prince. Jay Prince Feds Wack 100. And he had played the audio of the call on, did you ever hear that? He played the call, a federal agent called Wack about Jay Prince. This was like a year or two ago. And he played the call. Here we go.
Wack 100
and I know sometimes it ain't best. There you go.
Remember that's
Hold on, let's see if I can.
Got a whole room on it.
And this was an illegal search and seizure.
The whole count.
There's actual audio. I heard it.
So they're calling me to see.
Hold on. Where's the fuck his audio? What the fuck? That's crazy.
Yes, sir. And James Prince Sr.?
I wouldn't have no information other than just me helping with a Larry Hoover project.
What up, gang?
On Paru, I recorded all that.
So they be on here listening.
Yeah, they're using.
Yo, Phoenix, where you at? You on here?
Hold on, one mic on.
Yo, Wack's so hilarious. On Paru, I recorded the call with the feds. That's hilarious.
What happened? What?
The feds just called my phone 2 hours ago.